once again, I'm here to do what I feel I should be doing. It's just, I have this urge to talk, dude. I'm a yapaholic, I think. Even if I don't have many things to say, I just feel like I have to be here, you know? Anyhow, so today, lately I've been dwelling on indifference and control because I've been reading Epictetus. So I'm a terrible reader. I feel like I fell in love with reading this year, and I've been reading a lot. But I have read so many, like so few books, just because I don't like. I'm not able to. It's not like I'm not able to commit to something because I'm reading constantly, right? But I'm not able to follow a line. Like, for example, I'm not gonna read Epictetus or Seneca knowing that most of the things that I'm gonna find in the books are just chunks of a certain, like, bigger subject. Does that make sense? Like, Seneca talks about providence, he talks about control, he talks about envy, he talks about so many things, right? And if I only want to learn about envy, I'm not gonna read the whole book. I feel like I rather sort of like go to, like, see what Seneca says, see what Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius said at the same time, so I can learn those things. You know what I'm saying? And that just leaves me with a bunch of books, like a bunch of books just piling up in the background, and me just being like, wait, have I really read anything so far? Like, I have the knowledge and stuff, but I feel like, since I don't have the books, they're piling up in my already read list. I feel like I'm wasting my time. But yeah, I guess I'll see how it goes with, like, other type of books that are a little bit more, like, centered on one thing rather, right? But in a sense, yeah, I'm still learning Stoicism. It's a pretty fun philosophy. I'm having a lot of fun reading it, and I think that's probably the main reason why I fell in love with reading in the first place. So today I want to mainly talk about control, because that's the only thing that I've pretty much been able to understand. And it's very simple. It's very pragmatic also how Epictetus puts it. That's why I like his writings a lot. I mean, he never wrote anything. It was one of his pupils, one of his apprentices, that, like, who wrote the whole thing, or pretty much he wrote what he said. It's like a transcription of what he said. In his, I don't know, like, when he was teaching and stuff. But I like the approach that he gives to Stoicism. He was actually the one who said that Stoicism, or philosophy, I think it was the art of living. So that's a beautiful way to see it. And it really appeals to me, to be honest, just because I feel like it's something that I need, in a sense, as an anxious person. And I feel like control is so. I got these ideas from both Seneca on control, Seneca on anxiety, or Seneca on what is, like, up to our power or something like that. The names changed a lot, and Seneca on, like, on anxiety. And I really like the fact that Seneca again says that Zeus, or the gods, gave us a share of the divine so that we can circumvent, and Marcus Aurelius agrees with this, any evil. And I love that. You know what I'm saying? Because even though I don't believe in God, I don't believe in Zeus. I mean, I'm pretty sure there is a God, but I don't know. I don't think he or she or it cares about us enough for us to even care about him in to begin with, to be honest. And if he did care about it, you know, I always think about these things because I try to approach things both, like, religiously and more like, in a non-believer manner. Like, for example, how would I act if God existed, or how would I act if God didn't exist? So that's how I approach things, right? If God existed, if he cares about me, that's cool. Whatever he does, you know, whatever she or he does, it's up to him, you know? I am, like, just gonna be there. Does that make sense? Because that's all that it's up to me. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it wants me to do. If, I don't know, losing my life, losing a limb, losing money, losing everything that makes me happy happens to me, I will accept it in both ways. Whether it is a God, it wants me to be this way. It wants my life to progress like this. So I will comply. Because, not because a God wants me to, like, get on the mud so that other people are, like, on the top and enjoying their lives, not because of that, just because it happens and I cannot control it. So what is up to my power is not to change that. It's not to like, I don't know, like persuade the gods or any power that is putting me in this situation to change my situation. But within my power is how I react to it. Whether I cry, whether I roll and complain about it, you know? So hopefully I'll understand this for long enough, and when something bad happens to me, I'll be, not thankful, but I'll get it, understanding that what is up to me is how I take this, how I see this. You know what I'm saying? And of course, it's not just that. There's gotta be some other facts in your head. There are some facts in my head that help me sort of, agree with any hardship that would come my way. I feel like for example, how you would handle death, how you would handle insults, how you handle all of these things. I feel like the base of it, the principle, is that you cannot change that. You can only change how you react to it, you know? And at least me being a person who doesn't, I don't believe in fate, but I do believe in determinism, at least as of today. So I feel like anything that happens to me has been decided from the very, very moment, not of like, not when I was born, but the very, very moment. Because I feel like every action has a cause, or every result has a cause, and every cause has a cause, because it is the result of another cause and stuff like that. So I feel like it's easier for me to understand and to take things that I don't control, like that, both the good and the bad, thinking that it was meant to be this way, even though it is not good for me. Maybe the God wanted it that way, or maybe the circumstances that happened at the beginning of the life had this waiting for me, and I can only control how I react to it. You know, I will go on living anyways. So I feel like I deviated a little bit, but I kind of like that I touched that point really early. What I wanted to say is that Seneca said that the gods gave us a share of the divine so that we can circumvent the evil that would come from the things that we don't control. Like, for example, people liking us, fortune, or any of all of the things that could possibly kind of affect us in a sense, It was a reason, you know? It was not possible for us to control all of those things, but it is possible for us to control our reason, which has power over our aversions and desires, which Seneca actually categorizes or sees as the only thing that could, well, not the only thing, but the thing that makes us anxious. When we are anxious, that person whoever is anxious is suffering from their aversions and desires, meaning that they want something that is not up to them, that does not belong to them, and they do not concern themselves or appreciate the things that are up to them. You know, and that is so true. You don't fear, for example, accepting a wrong opinion. You don't fear insulting somebody who you would, for example, I don't know, like, you don't fear insulting your boss because it is completely up to you. You fear your boss getting mad at you, or coming home to maybe or going to your job and I don't know, be fired by your supervisor or whatever, because all of those things are not up to you. You fear losing a bet because it's not up to you. You fear for example, losing someone's life, or losing someone like your girlfriend or your or some family member that you appreciate, because it is not up to you. You know, you only fear things when they are not up to you. Death is a terrible thing. I don't know, like, for example, burning your face, or let's say maybe getting shot, things like that. In a sense, you know what I'm saying, they're up to you. If you're not afraid of burning your own hand. You're not afraid of shooting your own hand, because it is up to you. So you're not afraid of bad things. You're afraid of only things that are not within your power. That's what makes us anxious. And I really like thinking like this, So when I was writing, because I write a lot whenever I'm reading, I always have to write because otherwise I feel like I'm not putting my thoughts together. It's important to understand that I feel like stoicism is not it's not applicable for anyone, or not everybody can apply stoicism because it is just really hard. Um it takes a lot of, how would you call it, like reason in a sense. And it's not like some people are made for it and some people are not. Well, in a sense they are, or they're more, conditioned to take it well, in a sense. Because for example, it is not easy to tell somebody, hey, you should not worry about, like, I don't know, like failing your exam, or you should not worry about maybe your dog dying even though it is sick, because it is not up to you, it is not within your control, so don't worry about it. A lot of people can, agree with that. I think everybody would agree with that, with that caring about it's not going to help. Sure, it's not going to help, but it's not as easy. It's easier said than done. So it would take a lot of time for a lot of people to kind of accept that. And it sort of took time for me to even understand it well. For example, somebody, and I feel like this is the thing that really helped me. Somebody who worries about failing an exam, about being disdained from their boss, or by their boss rather. Somebody who fears um, losing possessions and stuff like that has as much control over those things, right? Over that aversion, over that thing that they're trying to avoid, as the person who doesn't worry about those things, and only does what is within their power. The person who worries about it is gonna do, I mean, they cannot do anything else but what is within their power. And the person who worries, who doesn't worry about it, pretty much is also gonna do the same. Do the best that they can to avoid that thing, right? But at least they will not desire that thing. They will only desire to do their best that they can. And I feel like I'm able to do this in a sense in obviously certain situations, because I'm not claiming to be like a perfect stoic or anything like that. I don't think that I'm gonna be a stoic anyways, because it would take a lot of time and a lot of sacrifice, because you gotta be a virtuous person. And I sort of, as of today, don't think that virtue is something that is very rewarding. It takes a lot of discipline, it takes a lot of sacrifice that are definitely not gonna give it back in the form of gratification, you know? But yeah, I kind of like, I lost myself then. So what I was saying is that, ooh, man, I lost myself. Damn, I was going for a good point there. I really lost myself. Damn. um, yeah, what I was saying is that, damn, I really lost myself, huh? That's crazy. I was going for a good thought there. I have a terrible memory, I guess. Maybe that's why I have to literally do like 50. I mean, I used to do 80 flashcards every day, and now I do 50, mainly because I don't have much time, because I have a job now. But yeah, so I'm not claiming to be a perfect stoic, right? Because it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort, and a lot of sacrifice. Um, but I find myself in the situation in which I find myself doing things for the purpose of doing the thing, not for the purpose of getting the outcome, whatever outcome that is gonna come out of that thing. Does that make sense? For example, when I, like, this has happened several times in my life, and I feel like the only time I can point out right now is when, for example, I got paid like I think I got paid like 50 cents less, you know? And I literally knew it was a waste of time. A lot of people tell me it was a waste of time, and sure, but I needed to stand for myself, mainly because, like I said, I have this voice in my head that tells me, you know, you should probably do it. It's a good way to train yourself, right? Sure, they're gonna look at you weirdly because you're complaining about only 5 cents, or 50 cents rather, but you know, why would you be embarrassed of something that you should not be embarrassed? They're not paying you what they're telling you that they will pay you. So why would you be embarrassed, even if it is 1 cent? So it was training for me, right? It's just 50 cents. It's not about the money, right? It's not about me receiving the money. It's about me exercising my reason. It's about me using the situation to train myself, to put myself in an uncomfortable situation and see whether I feel embarrassed. And if I feel embarrassed, use my reason to at least, you know, reject that, like those feelings, those negative feelings, and at least act virtuously in a sense, at least with wisdom. So those are the moments. That's the only moment I can point out right now, but there have been many where I worry only about what I do, what is within my power. You know what I'm saying? And whatever comes my way is indifferent. We're getting into the indifference now. It's completely indifferent. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna make me more virtuous. That the person is gonna be like, oh yeah, sure, let's go do this. Okay, let's go do this, and I'm gonna give you your 50 cents. It doesn't matter if they like laugh at me and tell me like, fuck that, we're not gonna waste time on 50 cents. It was whatever. I'm there to exercise what is within my power, which is standing up for myself. you know and I did that at least once. I've not complained again. I only complained once, and they pretty much told me that to go complain to someone else, and the other person has been very busy. But I'm gonna do that in the future, I promise. Okay. um Once I start preparing for my second payment. Anyhow, so those are one of the situations. That's one of the situations where I find myself doing things for the sake of doing my best to fulfill my part. And I think that's something that we should concern ourselves with. I like to think about a time or a situation, a utopic reality in which I do things and I worry only about what I can control, and therefore I feel no anxiety because all of those things are within my power. You know, I will not desire. I would not desire praise from other people. I would not desire or averse disdain from other people. I would not averse or try to avoid illness. You know, I would focus on what I can control. And if it comes my way, it will come my way. It was meant to be it was meant to be that way. I feel like that's the beauty, and what drew like that's what pretty much attracted me and made me feel so, in the good sense of the word, coddled in stoicism. To see that, other people. This is gonna sound a little bit braggy, but other people thought like me and had thoughts that helped me. And those are not people like random people. Those are literally stoics, like philosophers. Like when I remember I was giving like some advice to my friend. My friend, I mean, sorry, he was very, she's trans. I mean, he's trans. He's a trans man. Okay, so he's very anxious. He was very anxious, and I was trying to help him. I had no idea what stoicism was, but I was trying to help him. I was trying to tell him like, hey, if you go buy this thing, because he was afraid of buying stuff. He was just like me, like I was at some point. You know what I'm saying? And I told him like I'm still anxious as well, but I've been at that point where you are right now, and this is what helped me. If you go and do something, right, like buying a freaking, I don't know, cola, in like for a street from a street vendor and whatever, and that person insults you, which is very rare, but if that person insults you, you should not expect these people to always be nice. You know what I'm saying? And you should not worry about their response. That says nothing about you. That says more about them than it says about you. You know what I'm saying? You're acting with virtue. You are going out there doing what it's right. You know what I'm saying? And if that person responds maliciously and badly, that says nothing about you. It does not affect you. You're the same person. That person is only insulting you, and if that person magically gets some real embarrassing thing about you, right? You know what I'm saying? You should be afraid. You should be aware of that, rather. You know, no one should tell you something that you don't know about yourself. And yeah, and then going into Stoicism and finding out all of these things, and kind of feel like a feeling of deja vu as I was going through all of it. It's kind of nice, you know? I think I just want to close this one with what Marcus Aurelius said. I'm probably gonna butcher it again, but I like the fact that he said that he does not need to go away anywhere like other men. He does not need to go to the beach. He does not need to physically get away from his problems. He can always find peace from within. There's nowhere as peaceful as his head, as his soul, you know? And he should find there. He's not saying like, just zoned out, dude. Just like whatever problem comes your way, just zoned out. No. He said that you should retreat within your head. And hopefully you will find facts there. You will find things there. You know, you will have like decorated your little palace with good things that will give you comfort. In this sense, I guess he was meaning the facts that would help him. Like, for example, what I said previously, and all of the things that, you know, Stoicism teaches you. All of those facts are supposed to circumvent and supposed to be the antidote for any evil that could come your way. It is not the things, but our judgment about them that changes who we are. And now this teacher has to go to study. Because I'm trying to, for a sense, I'm trying to avoid it. I don't know why. I have to go study. This was a nice video. Take care.